Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today we're going to start out with my bag of words to see what I'm inspired to share. All right, let's see. Oh, a lot of words are trying to come out. Okay. Okay, I'll hold on to these three because it was like, too much. All right, so the first one that was folded over was remorse. All right, let's see what else we have. And then we have satisfaction, and worry. Ooh, okay. So worry, satisfaction, and remorse. Remorse and worry. I guess I'm going to start with remorse. It makes me think of, at least this is what's coming to mind now, when we do things that in the moment, makes sense to us, right? And then we realize that we hurt someone or wrong someone in some way, didn't show up, as we would have liked to, right? Upon reflection, we realize that we weren't our best selves in that moment, right? And we start to feel this sense of remorse for what we've done, right? We think, I should have done this, I should have said that, why was I so mean to them, or why did I do this? And we create a lot of turmoil for ourselves. And we don't really get to where we want to get to when we're in that space. We also open up the door for more worry, because when we start to feel this sense of remorse and don't address it, right, we start to feel undeserving. And we start to worry that in some way, right, things aren't going to work out for us. Because we may feel that we're undeserving, or that it's some karmic thing that's going to, unfold itself for us. Or we may start to spiral in all kinds of directions with this worrying about what can happen because of what we didn't do, or what we did do that wasn't so positive. And we really create a cycle of a bunch of stories and worries and stressors that can become all-consuming. So we want to reflect on that, right? We want to take a moment to pull back and reflect on what's going on with us psychologically. But we don't want to just stop there, because then we are just getting but so far. We want to go an extra step, and we want to spend some time, right, acknowledging our essence and understanding the role of our essence, right, our soul, and what it is trying to tell us, and how it's trying to guide us. The remorse doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing, right? Because we can use that, right, as a positive, meaning that it is not our core nature to, let's say, have acted that way, but we did it out of whatever emotion we felt at that time, and what we felt that we needed to do in response to that emotion. But it's can be a positive, right, to feel remorse, because we don't necessarily want to not be our best selves, or or show up in a mean way, continuously, and so forth. But at the same time, if it runs amok, then, right, it becomes a negative, because it consumes us and takes over us, and can have us worrying about all kinds of stuff, including karma and so forth. And not to say that, karma doesn't exist. It's to say that we can allow that to exist and still transcend. We don't have to have a terrible existence because we've done things that we're not so proud of. We can transcend from that, and we can shift, right? We can reflect on what we've done, why we've done it from a psychological perspective, right? And then, like I said, we want to shift into a deeper level of our existence, and start connecting and incorporating, right, that part of ourselves into our day-to-day activities. Why? Because if we forget that part of us, or we ignore that part of us, then it doesn't allow us to grow. And I'm going to say grow, but it's really more than grow. It doesn't really allow us to express our true nature and all of ourselves. In other words, we're going to stay limited in this box, in this way of seeing ourselves, and forget that this is just our ego self and this is just our scared self. This here, right, is who we truly are at a core level. And we want to remember that, because it is what we use, right, to create an awareness of our true identity, and that identity, which is beautiful on a soul level, right? This action doesn't dismiss this beauty within us. This action is just an expression of our fear and our ego. It doesn't diminish our beautiful soul and the light within our soul and that divine energy, right? That is our essence. It doesn't dismiss that. And when we do that, right, then we're able to create a satisfaction that is more whole and more accurate to who we truly are, as opposed to creating an identity that is based on an expression of ego or our fear, and not an expression of our true essence, right? So if we want to create some form of satisfaction for ourselves when we are feeling this yuckiness, right, we want to shift and not just stop at a level of reflection, right? We want to go deeper with that reflection from a psychological perspective to a spiritual perspective, so that we can incorporate our essence and not ignore it and leave it to the side. Because it really isn't to the side. It really is our beginning, middle, and end. So we want to remember that and create a soul level satisfaction, as opposed to just a satisfaction from a psychological perspective, where it's like, yes, we've gained some awareness, but we're not really shifting more in the direction that we want to shift in, which is becoming more aware of our wholeness, but right, becoming more fulfilled and more forgiving of ourselves, and allowing ourselves to give ourselves more grace, because we're acknowledging this divine nature of ours, as opposed to just leaving it to the side when it's our complete essence. So yeah, that's what's coming to mind with those 3 words. I hope that this video has helped you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I upload further videos. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Bye for now.